Hey pirates, this is my long overdue Bat Ray build video, updated with the latest technology. I'm going to start with the flagship, and I cleaned it up a little bit so you can see bit by bit. I'm going to start with the special. So I gave up on resistors. I think the extra 15% they provide were not making a difference. So instead I'm going with more speed, especially for the bat rays. They are a little bit slower. So I reckon using speed system 6 was mostly beneficial. Then the next two specials that are sort of like must-have is the advanced concussive payload 2 and the hydro-explosive casing. These two are the best in class. If you don't have advanced concussive payload 2, there is a simpler version, advanced concussive payload 1, which you can use. And if you don't have hydro-explosive casing, you can use the PBX instead. So there's right up here, PBX payload. It's a bit heavier, a bit less effective, so of course you prefer hydro-explosive casing. Next up, skirmish battery, little bit of extra damage, extra splash damage reduction. These are the two stats we're looking at. Okay, the splash damage reduction is very helpful, and that's proven. And that's why we try to double down with Hyper 30. Also gives a lot of splash damage reduction. Also gives evade, and on the flagship against the torpedoes, evade helps a lot. So you want to have that in. If you don't have Hyper 30, it's not easy to get. You're going to have to settle for something else, maybe something for evade, I would say, primarily. So if you can use even the regular Guidance Scrambler 3, if you don't have Hyper 30, that will help you with evade on the flagship, and you really, trust me, you want that evade. Okay, but let me go back. Hyper 30. If you have Hyper 20, that's okay. Hyper 10, I'd say it's too weak, so maybe it's not the best choice. And because the flagships are taking all the torpedo fire, my last special for the flagship is evade upgrade. 18% evade bonus. You could try something else. I mean, if you're using resistor, you could stack the thruster. It gives 16% evade and some splash damage reduction. Does not stack with speed system 6. Then you'd have to give up some speed and get a resistor. So instead, I'd rather have more combat speed, more evade, and just give up on about 4% splash damage reduction. It takes it to approximately 52 if I'm not mistaken. So that's the specials. The weapons, because this is the flagship, very easy. We want to use those limited flagship only weapons. The Lightning Strike, it gives 150,000 damage each one. You can only use 2 on the flagship only, not on the other ships, and no more than 2, but you definitely want to have these 2. These 2 alone give you a massive amount of damage. I'm kind of spreading a few Gale 3s here and there on the fleet. I'm also spreading a few of these limited, what they're called Gathering Storms. Don't really need many of them. And if you don't have, don't use. I mean, they're really not a showstopper when you don't have them. And the rest is just the good old GSU 7 Reaps. So this one fills up all remaining slots. So that's it for weapons and specials. If you don't want the Gale here, if you want to put all the Gales on a single ship and put a special on them, go for it. But this works. Armors, there's a big debate raging on. Do you even need them? That's the question. Do you even need the armors? And fair question. But there's more than one way of skinning the cat here. So one option, you can put the limited, and I'm out of them, the D6 CT. That's something you could use if you have them, because they give you 30% concussive defense and 0 repair time. Although I'm going to say that the resistances on the flagship are already so high, you don't need it. What you need the most on the flagship is evade against the torpedoes. So there are 2 good armors you can use for that. So either you can load all on these D5 EV, they'll give you speed and evade, or you can mix and match with the hydrofoil, gives you some resistance and the same evade. Same 12% you get here, you get 12.4% here, but this one has to be retrofitted R15. If yours is not, you're going to get less evade. So let's say, just for the sake of comparison here, I'm going to put 2 of these and 2 of the other one. Like I said, you can choose to go light on the armor and just, so that's my flagship build. I am going to copy the code here, so share, copy to clipboard. You will see this code in the video description of my video, so just open it on YouTube. You can get the code I got here, select, copy, come back in your game, click share, but then you just right click here and you put paste. That code's gonna pop up here, you click load, and you get the same ship in there, okay? So that's the flagship. It's a little bit different than the other ships in the fleet, but that's it out of the way. So here's the regular Bat Rays. You can build 4 of them exactly like this one, or if you're getting the anti-torpedo countermeasure from the Halloween event, then you can build a separate ship, as I'm going to show you soon, with a countermeasure focus. But here's my regular Bat Rays right now, 4 of them. So same specials as the flagship, speed system 6, advanced concussive payload 2, hydro explosive, skirmish battery. Now, of course, if you have more Hyper 30s, you can go on and add them Hyper 30s to your ship. I don't have enough for all 5, so I'm adding them as I get them. I think I have enough for 3 ships right now. So a Hyper 30. And the last special, there are literally multiple ways you can go about it, and none of them will be flat out wrong. If you're going to run these ships on autopilot, I still strongly recommend you use Tactical Insulator. Kind of a must-have if you're going to run on auto. Put it there. If you're driving, then you can use some other different things here. You can either use something to buff your spread and splash, and the 2 best options are Explosive System 4, it's 1, and the other one's down here, Combustion System 2. These will give you more spread, more splash, will help you kill the ships nearby the one you're targeting, so not bad. And then the other option you have is to run CTX3. So if you still want to make sure the resistance is top notch, just go and put on CTX3. This way your resistances will kind of match the flagship, almost. Makes your ships a little bit harder to kill minimally. So up to you. So again, Tactical Insulator 3 or CTX3, or a spread and splash special like Explosive System 4 or Combustion System. In terms of weapons, I'm keeping 1 Gale per ship, so that kind of spreads the countermeasure function across all of them, and then just put a bunch of Ripsaws. If you have some of those Gathering Storms, you can use them too. Here, so that's all the weapons. As for armor, I'm trying to keep the repair time down. So I'm using 1 CT, D6 CT, all right? And then I'm gonna use just 2 of those speed armors so we match my flagship, the D5 EV. And for now, I'm gonna leave the last slot here empty. You can put a CTX if you want, that would be the traditional expectation, the more normal armor. That's not limited, so you could use this one here and here, right? You could build it like this. Or you can use the D5 CT to try and balance the resistance on these ships, because they are lower on concussive than they are on explosive. And this one doesn't add any repair time. And what I'm doing for now, as I said, I'm leaving this 1 slot here empty, all right? So this is how my 4 ships are going to be if I do them on auto. I'm still thinking about the Tactical Insulator though, so might end up going with Combustion System 2. So for now, I'm leaving this one open because I'm not going to be able to finish the ships for raid if I try to do everything. I'm gonna copy here, share, copy to clipboard, and you'll see this code for this ship, missing one special, missing one armor. You see that under the video. This is good enough to do raid. Optionally, if you're doing the Halloween event and you're getting those torpedo countermeasures and the gale force, you could build a dedicated countermeasure ship. We haven't had an opportunity to test that against raid targets per se, so we don't know how effective it's going to be. But the way it's going to go down is more or less like this. So same specials here, speed system, hydro-explosive casing, ACP2, Hyper 30. If you don't have Hyper 30, again, you can use Guidance Scrambler, Skirmish Battery. Then the last special here is going to be Countermeasure Loader 4. In conjunction with that, if you want your torpedo countermeasure to be even better, there's an option you can put here called Subaquatic Propellant. It gives more projectile speed and more countermeasure reload. The torpedo countermeasure reloads every 6 seconds. Even if you're scalded, it's going to reload every 1.5. So you might want to put that, but I don't think those Nighthawks fire that fast. So I'm not going to use it for now. Might be something I refit to later. Okay, so leaving countermeasure loader here. Now the way this is going to go is, if you got a couple of them, of course. Gale Defense 4, the brand new one, I'm going to put 2 in this ship. And then I'm going to put 2 of the Cormorant anti-torpedo. Which, by the way, it's all I have. I only got 2 of them, which is cool. Right, so this now becomes a countermeasure ship. And on the other slots, of course, we just go and put the Ripsaw Gatling gun. Alright, so this would be the final state of this ship. And then armor, I plan to stick to D6 CT as soon as I get another one. I'm out of them, so it would be this. And if I want to match the flagship with the speed armor, then we gotta put a couple D5 EVs. Okay, just keep in mind, you know, like they are not too bad to build, but the time adds up. So this would be my final setup. Damage not bad, but this one would be a special case of a countermeasure ship. Right? Again, I'm going to share this code with everyone if you guys want to do one ship like that. But you got to have the components. You got to have the special countermeasures. If not, just do 4 ships like the regular ones I said. They were working well. That similar setup for people last raid. So I'm going to leave you with that. See you next time, Pirates. Take care, everyone.